In other words, if your year of 2022 started off bad, he said, wait till I blow your mind at the end of the year of 2022. Your beginning might have started off slow, but it's getting ready to speed up now. Because what we notice that when a lady is pregnant, as she started to get larger, the baby started to move more and more. At first, the baby is only idle in one little spot. But then all of a sudden, the baby started getting active and started moving around. Have you ever been there where your wife said, just rub in this spot? What you mean, rub? Just rub in that spot. And that's going to move that baby to the other side because that baby is sticking in a rib. Hello, somebody. And so what you have to understand here is that Jabez said that even though I was birthed in pain and misery and sorrow, he says, I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to stay there. And what Jabez is talking about, he says that the Lord is showing us that I'm getting ready to break down a generational gap that is going on right here. And so he says, not only is he in a bad situation, not only was his name wrong, but he says, I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it around. Hello, somebody. And so the story tells us that God flips this situation. How many of you have been in some situations in your life and you realize that if it had not been for the Lord on your side, that it wouldn't have been turned out the way that it was? How many of you realize that God is always turning some things around? You have to realize now what is going on. Jabez say that his mama birthed him in pain. That kind of twisted me a little bit, because his mother says that I named him Jabez because I bared him with sorrow. His name is Jabez because while I was bearing him, I was in sorrow. The problem with that is inconsistent, because in Genesis chapter 3, after the fall of, after God is issuing penalties, he said that because you have ate, God says that in your penalty will be permitting you to have children in sorrow. Hello, somebody. Jabez said that this boy is with sorrow. The difference between with sorrow and in sorrow is that the mama is saying that I gave him birth because I was in a bad situation. Just because his mama was in a bad situation, she don't need to put a curse on him. Oh, somebody. The difference, and what you have to realize, because his birth was the way that it was, she said with sorrow. God didn't say that you was going to be born with sorrow. He said that you would be born in sorrow. Oh, somebody reading the Bible here. And so what you have to understand here, what is going on, when God punished them, he says, no, I didn't punish you that way. He punished the lady for what she done. She ate off of the forbidden fruit. It's going to go back. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be right. Every child is born in sorrow. No, that's not true. You have to realize what is going on here. Whenever he said associated the pain with sorrow, he says that just because you're in pain, just because you're in sorrow, I'm not going to let that hold me back from what God got for me. Your problem is not my problem. Somebody, your problem is not your boo. Your problem is not your husband. Your problem is not your wife. Your problem is your mouth. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You have to be careful on how you say things. You have to be careful on how you name your children. Somebody. And so what I realize now is that how do you handle a problem like this when you have to deal with somebody else's pain. He has been labeled with somebody else's pain, but then the change comes in is that when she says that I'm gonna call you Jabez. Jabez say that I'm not gonna accept what you're calling me because I know about the God of Israel. And then he takes that back to the God of Israel because he want to let you know that I'm going to pray to the God that have shown me something in the past. That's why I say that this generational gap that we have right now, they have problems because now we have young people that are raising young people. And so because they don't see their mama or their daddies doing what y'all done, then there is an issue. Hello, somebody. We're wondering why that the young people don't want to come to church. Because why? Because they see mama or daddy sitting on the couch playing video games. So why can't I sit on the couch and play video games? But the truth of the matter is that what you need to realize that gap not going to stop me from being where I need to be at. He referenced Israel because he know Israel was Jacob. You remember Jacob? Jacob was a trickster. Jacob was that one that wrestled with God at night. Jacob was the one that says, when the Lord said, let me go, he says, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. So what he says here is that I'm going to call on the God that I know have proven who he is. Hello, somebody. He changed Jacob's name to Israel, and he says, I know what Israel used to be, so now he's not going to change my name, but the God that of Israel is going to bless me. Just because my mama named me something that she shouldn't have named me, I'm going to take that name and turn it around. Just because my daddy wasn't there with me, I'm still going to be okay. Just because my mama or my daddy choose to abandon me, I'm still going to be okay. Why is that? Because the people who raised me, they love me. So you need to learn how to get out of your feelings. Sooner or later, man, you a woman, you're going to have to grow up and own up for your own responsibility. Is there anybody that's bold enough to break away and say, I'm ready to stand on my own 2 feet? I'm standing not because of what my mama did, not because of what my daddy did. I'm standing because I have to find out who God is for myself. If God is going to blow my mind, I have to be able to contact him on my own. If God is truly going to blow my mind, then I have to be in a relationship with God for myself. I realized that I looked at what Jacob did, and I realized that Jacob was a slickster. I realized that God changed his name to Israel. But then what Jabez said, I got to pray to him for myself. Is there anybody up in here that says, I'm praying to God for myself? Is there anybody up in here that says, I realize that I'm here only because of the prayers of my mama or my daddy, but now that I am grown, I have learned how to get down. But there are about 50 of us, and I'll be number 51, that says, Lord, I need a blessing right now. Because some people think that it's selfish to ask God to bless you. But I beg to differ. I don't think it's selfish to ask God to bless you. Hello, somebody. Because what you have to understand here is that this word bless means what he's talking about. It means Barak. It means Barak in the Hebrew. And so when you bless me, God, he's not being selfish, because the truth of the matter is that we're supposed to bless God. when we bow down on our knees and pray to God. But what Jabez is actually saying, Lord, bless me indeed. I'm about to blow somebody's mind right now. Jabez is saying, Lord, I need for you to bow down and bless me. In other words, he says, Lord, while you are in heaven, he said, I need for you to come down just a little bit closer and bless me right now. See, that went over some of y'all heads because that just blew y'all mind. But God says, I don't have a problem coming down and blessing you. Hello, somebody. Because while he is sitting up there, God will come down, tilt his face over you, and bless you. Is there anybody up in here that realize that God have blessed them tremendously? God bless me. God's sunshiny face have came down and blessed him. And he says that I'm not going to be this pain that my mama put me in. I'm not going to do that. So he did something out of the ordinary. He says, Lord, bless me indeed. I've always been told, if you ask, it shall be given. I've been told that if you knock, he will open up the doors. And then it went on a little bit further. It said, if you seek, you shall find. I got some Bible readers up in here. And so there's some stuff that I need only God to do, that I need. Hello, somebody. And so I realized that the stuff that I need, only the God that I serve can do this. And so that's why I understand why he went back to Israel, because he understood where it said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness. Hello, somebody. And hello, somebody. And so he said that if I learn how to seek God first, then God is going to bow down and his faith is going to be blessing me. Is there anybody up in here that need a blessing? Is there anybody up in here that needs a blessing? Don't fool me now. I'm not talking to the super saint. I'm talking to the people that is bold enough and audacious enough to say, yeah, I'm one of the ones that need a blessing. He asked, and it was given. Bless me. Give me stuff that only you can give. And then he said, enlarge my territory. Enlarge my territory. Now, it's something y'all need to know about your pastor. Your pastor a little thrown off. Say that. Enlarge my territory. Enlarge my space, but don't take the borders off me. Because I need my borders, y'all. Because if you remove the borders, then I might do something that's really crazy. I'm not as saved as y'all. I keep telling y'all that. If you remove the borders from me, I might go to work, and if somebody says something wrong, I might have to jump on them. If you remove the borders from around me, then if somebody doing something wrong at the red light, I might get out my car and have a talk with them. So Lord, enlarge my territory, but keep the borders around me. See, y'all good saints. I keep asking y'all every time I pray. I ask y'all to pray for you, Pastor. Lord, keep your borders. Expand my territory. But keep my borders around. Lord, reason why I want you to keep my borders is because I need to know how far I can go. And he says, when you enlarge my coast, my territory, what you're doing is you're shrinking all my circumstances. Have you ever been up high on a building or in a plane and you start looking down at the earth and everything looks small. And what I come to find out is that when he enlarged your territory, them little devils start getting small. And the more territory you have, the smaller the devil is going to be. And so what you have to understand here is that when he said, Lord, bless me indeed, he said, enlarge my territory, my coast. And then he says it like this. He said, but Lord, when you bless me, when you enlarge my territory, he said, keep your hands on me. Don't enlarge my territory without keeping your hands on me. Hello, somebody. Because the truth of the matter is that I know that as long as your hand is on me, everything gonna be okay. Hello, somebody. Because I realize now that I am nothing without you. So Lord, I need you to keep your hand on me. See, because when you enlarge my territory, you're giving me more work to do. Hello, somebody. You can't get larger territory and don't expect to do no more work. Hello, somebody. Because reason why those devils got so small, because you're too busy now working to be bothered with messy people. Because God have enlarged your territory, you don't have time to sit down and talk to people that ain't going nowhere. Because God have enlarged your territory. And so what Jabez say, I don't have time to worry about what my brothers think about me, because God is moving me to another whole level. And as long as you think that I'm all that, then that's up on you. Because the God that I serve, he have enlarged my territory, so I don't have a problem with how you feel about me. Lord, bless me, enlarge my coast, and keep your hand on me. The other reason why I need God to keep his hand up on me, because the more territory you have, the more vulnerable you are to sin. What I come to realization is, Sister Minna, is that a broke person is least likely to sin. Wait, let me go over here. Hey, Sister Doc. A person that's got money, they're more prone to get more trouble. See, but a broke person ain't gonna do nothing but be broke. Am I right about it? Yes. But when God enlarges your territory, he puts something down up in you, which is money, and you got more money to get in more trouble. So while God is enlarging your territory, see, that's where y'all miss it. It went over y'all head. Y'all keep asking God to bless y'all, and the more God bless y'all, the more trouble y'all get in. And you're wondering why you done got in that trouble. Because when he enlarged your territory, Lord, keep your hand on me, and don't let me do nothing that I'm going to regret later. But what you have to realize is that he said, I'm getting ready to blow you up, and I'm going to keep my hands on you while I'm blowing you up. And he said that not only will I keep my hands on you, and not only do I want you, don't want to get into no trouble, but he says, Lord, while you're blowing me up, he says, I need you to put something on the inside of me too. That messed with me there. He says, I need you to put something on the inside of me too. I say, well, Jabez, you ask God to bless you indeed. You ask God to enlarge your territory. You ask God to keep his hands on you. Why are you asking God to put something down up in you? Y'all just looking at me. Y'all want to know too, huh? He said, because I want to make sure that I do everything the right way. He said, Lord, put something down in me so that when you bless me, I don't mess it up. The reason why God is hesitant to bless some people is because when you get blessed, you don't do nothing but make a mess. And God says that I'm so willing to bless you, but every time I give you a little bit, you don't know how to handle it. He said, if you be faithful over a few things, I'll make you ruler over what? Many things. Lord, Jabez said, bless me indeed. He said, even though my mama named me this, he says, I'm not going to accept it because you've been blessing me. I was born with a mama and a daddy, but I had to be raised by my mama. I'm getting ready to break the generational curse. Just because I was born and was raised poor, that don't mean I'm going to be poor. Just because high blood pressure runs in my family, I'm going to break that generational curse and stop the high blood pressure now. Just because my dad was a deadbeat dad, that don't mean that I'm going to be a deadbeat dad. Hello, somebody. The generational curse is going to be broke. Is there anybody up in here that is willing to say, I'm ready to break generational curses? The reason why I said that, because the whole time that Jabez was talking, you never saw his daddy nowhere in the picture. In other words, he says that my mama named me and my daddy didn't have nothing to do with it. Hello, somebody. He says, in order to break this generational curse, then I got to stand up and do something for myself. Is there anybody up in here that is ready to stand up and do something for yourself? You got to stand up and start breaking generational curses. You got to stand up and say that I'm going to be the man that I need to be to raise my children. You got to stand up and say that I'm going to be the woman to raise my children. You got to stand up and say that my children will get an education. You got to be able to stand up and say that my children will go to college. You got to stand up and say that I'm going to take time out with my children so that they won't be drug heads or alcoholics. You got to stand up and make that choice that I'm going to be present in my children's life. Jabez said, my mama named me in pain. My mama named me in misery, but I'm not going to accept her pain or her misery. He says that I'm going to stand here a little bit longer because I realize how good God really is. Is there anybody up in here that knows that it's time for a change? Is there anybody up in here that knows that I am the seed of Abraham? Is there anybody up in here that knows that a change is getting ready to come? Because I heard the songwriter say, every time I turn around, he keeps on blessing me. Is there anybody up in here that know they've been blessed? Is there anybody up in here that knows they've been better than blessed? Is there anybody up in here that knows how good God has been? How many of you know that God says, Jabez has told us something. He says, just because you was born in a bad situation, that don't mean you got to stay in a bad situation. How many of you out there this morning can wave at a brother this morning and say, Lord, enlarge my territory. I'm not going to mess it up. I'm going to do it the right way. How many of you out there can say, I remember what you did for my mama. I remember what you did for my daddy. How many of you out there can say, Lord, for you I live, and for you I die. Is there anybody out there that can honestly say, God, you've been good to me. You've been better to me than I've been to myself. Is there anybody out there that honestly know how good God is? God's getting ready to blow you up. Are you ready for the blow up? Are you really ready for the blow up? I realize now what I've been going through. I've been going through growing pains, D. And God, I say, God, I don't feel right. Something is not right. He says, don't worry about not being right. Don't worry about how you're feeling right now. He said, because you're pregnant right now, there's getting ready to be an explosion. And you get ready to bust all over do right. I say, Lord, not like that. He says, no. You get sat there a little while longer. There's going to be an explosion getting ready to happen. And the Holy Ghost getting ready to blow up all up in the building. Is there anybody up in here that's ready for your breakthrough? Is there anybody up in here that's ready for what God is getting ready to do? If you're ready for God's getting ready to do, let me hear you shout right now. If you're truly ready for God right now, if you really want the breakthrough, can I hear you shout right now? Do I have any pregnant folk in the building that say, I'm pregnant? It's getting ready to come out. I got a few more months, but it's getting ready to come out. Enlarge my coast. Enlarge my territory. I don't know how y'all been feeling, but there's been a shift in the service. He's shifting it to a whole nother level. There's a progression of the pregnancy. Some of the men might be looking at me, Pastor, I ain't pregnant. There's a shift in the atmosphere. You got to be ready for the shift that is getting ready to happen. God is getting ready to blow your mind. But if you're not ready for the mind blowing, you're going to have some problems. God told me to tell you, get prepared. Get ready. It's getting ready to happen. You got to get ready for what is getting ready to happen. We're not playing church. I ain't got time for that. I just ain't got time for that. I don't care how my neighbor feel about me. I don't care how nobody feel about me. It's about God and me. When you get to that point in your life, it's about God and you. That's when you're going to feel a shift in the atmosphere. Father God, I thank you right now for the pregnancy that's going forward. I thank you right now for the 7 months of 2022. We realize that you're starting to enlarge our territory. We realize that you're getting ready to blow our mind. I thought that I had stumbled and I failed you. But Lord, I thank you for the confirmation that I didn't fail you, that it's going to be okay. I thank you for the confirmation that everything that you saw, everything that you said, he said it's going to come to pass. Some of you are looking at me and say, Pastor, you said that we was going to start our building in June. I want you to know that that bothered me. But the Lord spoke on last Sunday. He said it's going to be okay. We still going forward. We just had some pain. And he says, your pain is going to turn into something very beautiful. How many of you believe that? So, those of you that are having issues right now, this is not for everybody. It's only a few. If you're having issues and you don't know which way to turn, if you're having issues and you don't want to make a mess of it, come to the altar right quick. If you don't want to make a mess of it, this ain't for everybody. You're trying to figure it out. God done already worked it out. Jabez had to do something. Jabez had to let some stuff go. And that was including what his family felt about him in order to receive the blessing of God. Okay? Don't worry about what your family think about you. Do like Jabez did. Lord, enlarge my territory. But then he says, Lord, keep your hand on me so I don't make a mess of it. And so, right now, those of you that are standing, God's going to work it out. You know what you're standing in the need of, each individual person. And God says, I'm going to do it. You've seen how I've done some things. You have a blueprint of everything that I've done. But Lord, I don't understand why it's happening this way. But God says that I'm going to keep my hands upon you while you're going through what you're going through. And he says, while you're going through it, he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And there are some people that you might think are your friends, but they're really not. And he says, it's time to make a change in your life. The toughest decision we have to make is to let go and let God. Amen? God bless you. The doors of the church is open. There might be someone that says, I would like to become a member of this family. I didn't say church. Family. Will there be one? Amen. God bless you. God bless you. As we get ready for our tithes and our offering, whatever it is you're going to give to the Lord, get it in your hand. If you're giving through your phone,